started with my AP class probably about 3 years ago. Okay. I saw a special on the Oprah show where they had the stackable bins, and the AP teacher, I decided that would be something I thought would be neat in my classroom, and we started it. We had a lot of problems with it. We couldn't get it to do what it needed to do. We couldn't get it to stop molding, so we had a lot of issues, so we had to keep kind of almost starting the experiment over, and we never really got a lot of the organic stuff that we expected, so it was not really a great experiment. We started the Worm Watcher probably 2 months ago, and we've gotten better data out of that than I did in the previous 2 years. This one seems a much easier setup for the kids to use. It's not as complicated as you got to take this stack and move this thing and put the food here and do all this other stuff. So we were able to get fast results. And the kids had easier access to it, so they were able to go through and actually see almost instant results. So it's been interesting to see. Like Taylor's picked up on it. He's really gotten into it, and some of the other kids I'll notice. Even my 9th graders are kind of peeking to see what's going on back there, and so it's been neat to watch them kind of take over, and they're pretty much going to predetermine what we're going to do with it. Because I think it's a neat way for the kids to actually see an ecosystem and the dynamics of how it all is functioning and works, and how rapidly things decompose with the aid of the worms, and how fast the soil changed in that 2-month period. It went from being that really light peat moss, nothing, to the organic soils that the kids were separating out, so they could see. The results were much quicker. Because I think it was getting more air into the system, and it wasn't all these stacks of things trying to move the worms, move themselves, and that type of thing. It was more of a one big unit, and I think they could see the dynamics quicker. This one is so easy to use. I mean, the kids, we didn't have to go through putting the little. I think we had some kind of little chalk or some kind of what was it? It was some kind of a starter kit thing we had to put into the other bins to get it to start, and you couldn't add worms for so long and all this other stuff. This was pretty much you just dump the stuff in, add the worms, and it's like almost instantaneous. So this is a lot simpler. It's a lot quicker in the classroom because we're budgeted for time. So this is something they could put together in a class period. When we were putting the stacks together, it took us 2 classes. So I wasted 3 hours of instructional time versus them putting this together within a class period. Plus seeing the results within 2 months instead of waiting for 4 or 5 months.
Composting inside the classroom is definitely beneficial because it's going to teach kids all about composting and how it can better our environment, why it's a good thing, and how to do it themselves if they want to do it at home. Now they have the knowledge and the skills that they need in order to do that.
I think it makes sense. It's a really good way to get that experience beforehand so that we can learn to do so in the home environment.
In my opinion, composting inside the classroom is a very good hands-on experience for the students. They get to take different opportunities to learn about their environment and what goes on in the ecosystem that would be better than reading a book.
Like what?
When I first heard what Ms. Corrier was doing about the whole worms and the composting, I thought it would be interesting.
I heard Miss Corrier introduce the lady who brought in the worms, and in my head was like, what? Because she just brought in some worms in the classroom. What's going on here?
When I first found out that we were going to be composting in class, I thought that would be a really good experience. It's definitely going to be enriching for the kids, and it'll teach us all, more stuff about the environment, of course, and, then we'll be, even in the classroom, making a small step towards a greener future.
the soil that the worm produces is a healthier alternative than man-made fertilizers, and so that when the fertilizers actually do run off into the environment, it's not as harmful as it would be as opposed to nitrogen fertilizers.
The soil the worm produces is obviously very nutrient rich, and people can use it in their gardening, and it'll be very beneficial just even inside their gardens, and also beneficial for the earth because instead of using fertilizers or some inorganic stuff that people use, like the nitrogen fertilizers, we'll just be using natural worm castings.
Very good for agricultural uses, recycling into your soil that you have at home and what have you, and it can jumpstart a lot of growth and germination.
I think it's very important for students to learn this environmental connection because, of course, we are the future.
I think they do, because for posterity's sake, if anything else, we don't know what the world's coming to, and should you need something that can help you fix the soil, fix the world environmental wise, composting would be a great way to do so. And learning so at a young age or young-ish age, hopefully we can go even lower with this. It'll help us do so.
We're the ones who have to be responsible, and we have to take the proper precautions in order to fix our past mistakes.
It's smaller and more compact. People can have it in their homes or in their classrooms or anywhere. It's more convenient for people to actually start composting.
Because it'll help you learn how to do and protect the future, if you will. It'll help you recycle the soil.
We should worm watch because it's a way to see interacting ecosystems that we don't normally get to see on a regular basis. Most of these ecosystems are underground, and so they're not as easy to see. And so it's a more efficient way to see what's going on.